already talked about slip, so now let's talk about slipping all the way down to a landing. And you remember when you use a slip to lose altitude, it's called a forward slip. And the reason for that is you have to crab a little bit forward to stay on track. Now, a forward slip is a neat tool to lose altitude, but the real reason to use a forward slip to lose altitude is on final approach to land. Just like flaps, slipping the airplane increases your drag and increases your rate and angle of descent. So if your flaps aren't available for some reason, you can always slip the airplane to get down. Now, if you remember, you don't want to use a forward slip when you have more than 20 degrees of flaps extended, particularly if it's going to be a steep forward slip. So let's demonstrate this as if we didn't have flaps. The flaps weren't working for some reason. Now, I'm going to have to slip for some reason, so I must have gotten high. Well, I can assure you we are high. And so without flaps, we need to get down and slow down, so we'll use a slip instead of flaps to get the airplane dirty aerodynamically. I'm going to slip to the right, so we'll keep the right wing down, use a little left rudder as an opposite to that, and we'll slip. Now, we want to keep our speed at about 65 knots. And remember, the airspeed indicator is not very reliable in a slip, so I'll use the pitch attitude in order to keep that 65 knots. So I keep my pitch attitude for about a 65 knot descent. Now, if I want to decrease my rate of descent, I'll come out of the slip for a little bit, keep the same pitch attitude. And if I want to increase my rate of descent, I just steepen the slip. That way I can control my rate of descent. Now, as I get near the touchdown, all I have to do is come out of the slip and return to coordinated flight. And remember, you don't have flaps, so you're going to have a nose-high attitude, and you have less drag, so the airplane will tend to float and float and float. And you need to make sure you maintain that nose-high attitude. Now, we don't have as much drag, so it's going to roll a little bit longer on the runway. So now, you have the ability to use the tool of a forward slip all the way down to the landing. And you know how to control your descent rate, even if you don't have flaps.